You are listening to Veggie Doctor Radio, and this is episode number 211. Welcome to Veggie Doctor Radio. I am your host, Dr. Yami, board-certified pediatrician, certified lifestyle medicine physician, certified health and wellness coach, author, speaker, mother, wife, and human being. I passionately believe in the power of diet, habits, and mindset in sparking and sustaining well-being and joy in our lives. This podcast combines expert interviews and thoughtful monologues to explore plant-based nutrition, lifestyle medicine, parenting, mindset, and other exciting and fun topics. I hope that these episodes inspire you, uplift you, and equip you with the knowledge and tools to live your best life. Are you ready to get started? Let's do it. Hey, veggie lovers. Welcome back to another episode of Veggie Doctor Radio. Today, I have Rym Selmi, who is the founder of MiiRO, and we talk about chocolate today and her personal journey to a vegan lifestyle, as well as why she decided to create products that are low in sugar. So it's a very interesting story. But let me tell you more about Rym. Rym Selmi is a mom and an entrepreneur. She is the founder of MiiRO, a company that offers plant-based chocolates and baking goodies that contain less than a teaspoon of sugar for the whole bag or bar. Her company also gives back to the community by allotting 10% of the revenue to those in need. Rym is a vegan and health enthusiast and has contributed to several online articles that talk about the vegan lifestyle and how to live a healthier life by reducing the amount of sugar we consume. And guess what? If you are interested in trying the products from MiiRO, they have granted us an exclusive 10% off discount. Right now, she's only selling the products straight from her website. They're not yet available anywhere else. So you have to go to MiiRO.co. That's MiiRO.co. And the code to get 10% off is DRYAMI 10, DRYAMI 10. So you can get 10% off your purchase. I have tried their products, all of their products, and I was just so excited to finally have a vegan peanut butter chip because I had not had any since I went vegan, and it was so exciting. But their peanut butter cups and their peanut butter bar are also amazing. So if you love chocolate with peanut butter, I don't know very many people who don't love that combination. Try it out and see what you think. I'd love to know what you think if you try it. So today we're going to hear from Rym and why she went vegan, why she created this company, and what it's been like trying to create these products and develop these products to sell to you. So veggie lovers, thank you so much for being here. I hope that you enjoy this episode. And now let's welcome Rym Selmi. Rym Selmi, welcome to Veggie Doctor Radio.
Hi, thank you very much for having me.
Well, it's such a pleasure. I am so grateful that I got to taste some of the goodies from your company. That was such a treat. But before we talk more about MiiRO and some of the products you have, I'd love to learn more about your vegan and plant-based journey.
Yeah, sure. So it basically started after I quitted my job. It was about 7 years ago, and I just had a very difficult relationship with food due to the fact that I couldn't eat lunch during lunchtime, dinner during dinner time, because I used to work crazy hours. So I was snacking all day long. And just to keep my energy level up, I would rely primarily on sugar. So when I quitted my job, I was exhausted. I really felt miserable, and my sleep was very, very bad, and I lost a lot of my productivity, my attention space were tiny. And so at the time, I started with a dairy-free challenge that like it was the beginning of almond milk and other kind of like alternative milks. And I started with a dairy-free challenge that I found very easy because almond milk is delicious, but also that really changed my my approach to this dairy food group. And then after 2 weeks that I found were like very easy, I decided to go one step further into plant-based food. And it was just like, the idea was just to do 2 weeks and see how it goes, if it was for me or not. But what I've experienced was beyond my expectations, like in terms of like quality of sleep, productivity, like skin, a lot of things like energy level. Yeah. So after that, I decided to keep going with this lifestyle.
Wow. And how long ago was that?
It was almost 7 years ago.
Okay. So yeah, and dairy-free alternatives have come a long way since then too, even in just the last 2-3 years. So it's even easier now to go dairy-free. That's where I tell a lot of people to start if they're interested in plant-based nutrition, is just swap out your milk, because there's over 20 commercially available plant milks right now. So there's a lot of places that you can go with that. Okay, so then
exactly.
You decided to stick with it. What happened to your family and everybody around you?
So my husband noticed the change, and he was like, you can do more stuff. Like, he noticed I could do more stuff, like during the day, and he noticed that I felt great. And one day we were having this conversation, and I told him, look, I really feel that it's due to this diet I've experimented. And he was like, no. I said, yeah, I mean, just do it. Like, it doesn't cost anything. So he did it, and he experienced exactly the same stuff. So he really, really loved it. And he decided that, so he didn't want to put like a plant-based or vegan label, to the diet. So he decided that he would keep going with a plant-based diet, but during celebrations, for example, with friends and families, we've never been like meat eaters. So we didn't really miss meat. But like, for example, if there were like some sushis or, some stuff, like he would, still have those things during celebrations. And until now he has followed this diet, and he loves it. And then my sister as well, when she came to our house, she experienced it. She loved it. But because like we were born and raised in the French culture where milk, eggs, like it's very like prevalent, very strong. So when she went back home, she had difficulty like to keep going, but as soon as she can, like whenever she can have these plant-based meals, she's very conscious of it. Mm-hmm. So it impacted my family, and then it also impacted some of my employees who decided to, some of them, go plant-based. So yeah.
And then you have children too, right?
Yes.
And how has that been with the plant-based lifestyle?
So what I've done for my child, initially until the age of 3, the plan was that I would still introduce like some allergens to avoid, because if you completely skip the allergens, it's been proved that they can develop those allergies later on, which can be lethal. Mm-hmm. So we decided that until the age of 3, she would eat a reasonable quantity of dairy, eggs, etc., so that her body recognizes this food. And then at the age of 3, she would switch to a plant-based diet, which is something that we are now, I mean, she's 3, so we are actually switching to a plant-based diet. And the switch is very easy, to be honest. I don't find it very difficult for her to adjust, actually not at all. Yeah. So it is possible to raise kids vegan. Absolutely, yes.
And did you have a plant-based pregnancy with her?
I did have a plant-based pregnancy. So during my pregnancy, interestingly enough, I would like I used to crave sushis. So I would have the the makis like with avocado inside. So I would like just bind on those. And but yes, I did have a plant-based pregnancy. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, what a journey. So you've been plant-based, been, exploring this lifestyle, learning more about it for the past 7 years. What made you start your company MiiRO, and why?
So when I was pregnant, I contracted gestational diabetes because I have a sweet tooth, and with all the pregnancy cravings, I mentioned sushis, but the thing I craved the most was chocolate. So I used to eat a lot of sweet stuff. And on the third term, I realized that something was wrong, and we've done a lot of tests, and we realized that I had this form of diabetes. So basically, I went to Whole Foods and Target and all the local supermarkets, Amazon, and I tried to, because I was very new to low or no added sugar. So I bought every single brand I could find that was offering that. And having like a strong European culinary background, I was disappointed because it was often either dark chocolate. So it's not very dark chocolate. You really need to do a great work and really select great cocoa beans and those kind of things to avoid having like a bitter dark chocolate. So it's very difficult to find a really good one. Or it was not like after a full bar, you're like, okay, so like you didn't have like the experience, the indulgence of a chocolate, or there was an aftertaste. So this is where I thought, okay, I think I can do something here. I think I can bring in something. And then I started a research and development phase, and I tried to understand why there was an aftertaste. Why do companies just stop to dark chocolate, or why there isn't like a milk chocolate that is vegan and that is as creamy as a conventional chocolate? So I just went back to the fundamentals, and this is how I decided to create my own range of products.
So that's amazing. So this really came from the fact that you're a chocolate lover first and foremost, really.
Yes,
I can see that.
Absolutely.
I don't think I've ever thought that deeply about chocolate in my life. So you're thinking, I'm like, is there? Yeah, I guess so. Interesting. So that's so cool. Okay. So you love chocolate, but then you encountered a problem, and the problem was chocolate is usually loaded with sugar, which is one of the reasons we love chocolate. There's 2 reasons we love chocolate. One, it's really high in fat, which humans love fat. And the second one is high in sugar usually, which, 2 things that are good for our survival, except we have an overabundance of those things right now. Correct? So now you wanted to develop a good tasting chocolate that was also low in sugar. So when you started going down this pathway, what obstacles did you encounter? How easy was it to develop these products, or did you feel like it was pretty difficult? How long has it taken you to get to the point where you are happy with the products that you have?
It took us about a year and a half. And so initially I expected it to be easy, to be honest, because I thought, okay, it's just a few ingredients you throw together, but no, it's not. And I think that the biggest challenge, so when you think of chocolate, there are a few parameters, like a few criteria you need to think about. So of course there's the taste, which is the most obvious one. The second most obvious is the texture. But then there are a few other stuff. There's the mouthfeel, there's the viscosity, there are a lot of things. And something you can prepare in your kitchen doesn't necessarily have either the same taste or the same mouthfeel than something you prepare at a bigger scale. So for us, we needed to go back to the fundamentals. So we also realized that a lot of chocolate had just one single use. So you could, for example, it was just like to eat straight from the bag and the carton, and that's it. So I wanted to create basically a chocolate collection and a baking collection that could be melted, that is for baking, that could be eaten straight away, that had no aftertaste, that was plant-based, that was creamy, like had like the component of a milk chocolate too for some of them, or white chocolate for others. And this is why it became a bit complicated, and it took more time than what I expected, because it's not like a single use, just like eating it straight, like from the packet. It's more like something that if you bake with it, you'll have a great result. If you eat it straight away, like you'll have a great result too. A mouthfeel that is similar to a conventional product. Those kind of things. So these are all the obstacles and difficulties we had to encounter. And also the second one was, how do we remove the aftertaste? And I underestimated it. I thought it would be, like you could just like reduce your amount of stevia, but no, it wasn't like that. There was a whole process.
So you've learned a lot. You had a steep learning curve and you know all about chocolate food science now. That's amazing. How cool is that? Well, what was the first product you developed, and what's your favorite product in your MiiRO product line right now?
So the first product we developed was, I can't remember if it was the white chocolate bar or the peanut butter chocolate bar, but yeah, it was one of them. And then, so my favorite product is, my two favorite products, because I love them equally, are the peanut butter cups and the peanut butter baking chips. Because the peanut butter baking chips are just out of this world. They are very creamy. They are like, the feedback we have is that people just eat them straight from the bag, while it's more like a baking product. And the peanut butter cups are very, very indulgent. So these are my two favorite ones. Yeah.
Well, I have to admit, and Alejandra knows this, that when I got the box with the stuff and I saw that there were peanut butter chips, I screamed because I was so excited, because I had never ever found vegan peanut butter chips. Are y'all the first one to have vegan peanut butter chips? Because I had looked, because okay, so growing up, we used to go all the time to a yogurt place called TCBY. Have you heard of TCBY? It stands for the country's best yogurt. I don't even know if it's around anymore, but I would get, it's definitely not vegan, white chocolate mousse frozen yogurt with peanut butter chips. And I just loved it since then. But then once I went vegan, I could never find peanut butter chips. So when I saw that bag of peanut butter chips, I was like, oh my God, this is so exciting. And I agree, they're really good. What I love about the peanut butter cups too, though, is they taste really good. But something I found interesting with the peanut butter cups is when I'm done eating one, I don't have that dopamine hit. Like I want to keep eating more. It just satisfies me. And whenever you have, like something that has, cane sugar or something like that, that dopamine hits like, oh, I want another one. I want another one. But whenever I had this other peanut butter cup, it just felt just right. Like it satisfied my craving for the chocolate and peanut butter, because that's my favorite combination, chocolate and peanut butter, literally.
Yeah, me too.
The best ever, right? So, but it was just enough. I didn't feel like I needed to eat like an entire bag of them. So tell me a little bit more about the non-nutritive sweeteners that you use in your product and why you chose those.
Sure. So, okay, so for the sweeteners, we decided to go with stevia. The reason why we decided to go with stevia is because it's a botanical sweetener. It has, according to the quality of stevia you take, it can have up to 400 times the power, like the sweetening power of sugar. So, and I've met a farmer actually that, like basically harvests stevia, and I decided to buy it directly from him because I could see the process and how it can come to the form we needed. And the process was so gentle. He just like cultivates his stevia with so much love, and it's a family business for him. So I really wanted to support him. But then we decided to take erythritol. So initially we thought because we needed something. Stevia is too strong as a sweetener, so you cannot just use stevia because otherwise you have the aftertaste. Mm-hmm. So you need something to reverse somehow, to keep the sweetness of stevia but to cut the aftertaste, and this is what the erythritol is for. Mm-hmm. And initially we thought, okay, so what is actually erythritol? Like, some people love it, but some people don't like it. So why some don't like it? And we went just back to the fundamentals. And a lot of people say like, okay, I don't like erythritol because it upsets my stomach. Okay, so why would erythritol upset the stomach? And then we kept asking why? And we actually discovered something very interesting that no companies that does like low sugar stuff talk about, is the fact that erythritol actually is over processed, and that's why it upsets some people's stomach. Not everyone, just some people. And we decided to think of a way to process our erythritol so that we don't have this inconvenience. And something we found that I'm super happy about is the fact that we can ferment it. And in fermenting our erythritol, we actually avoid these like upsetting the most sensitive stomachs. And then we decided also to add some chicory root fiber. I think it's very healthy for the gut, and it's a fiber. So we combine the three of them to create a sweetener that has no aftertaste, that doesn't cause stomach cramps, because this is something that comes up with sweetener and that is natural.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. I recently went on a little anniversary trip with my husband to San Diego to celebrate our 21st wedding anniversary. And we ate some super delicious vegan food. There is so much amazing vegan food in San Diego. But I have to admit, I really missed my Bernie Wild's adventure sauce. Y'all, this has really become my go-to sauce. This week, we used it on our tofu tacos on Taco Tuesday, and it was chef kiss good. I love Bernie Wild's adventure sauce because it is unique and it adds a variety of flavor components. It's a little spicy, tangy, but it's also creamy. It's just so yum. I really want you to try it. Okay, it's called Bernie Wild's Adventure Sauce, and you have a good reason to grab yourself a bottle or two right now. My listeners get 20% off their first order of $20 or more and free shipping. Just use the code DRYAMI, DRYAMI. Follow the link in the show notes or go to berniewilds.com. This is an exclusive deal for my listeners only, so take advantage of it right away. After you taste it, I want to know what you think about this sauce. Do you love it as much as I do? Go get yourself a couple of bottles of Bernie Wild's Adventure Sauce right now and get your 20% off and free shipping by using the code DRYAMI. Enjoy! So does the chicory root fiber have a sweetness to it, or is it just kind of balancing out the erythritol and the stevia?
So it has sweetness to it. And the thing with this is also because we found when we use erythritol and stevia, so erythritol complemented well stevia, but then we found that chicory root fiber really, in the quantity and with the process we use, we've managed to find a combination that was exactly like sugar, mm-hmm. like in terms of taste. Mm-hmm. But then it's not just a recipe. There's a process to all of that. And that's why also it took time to create those products. Just because we didn't just focus on a formulation, we also focused on a process that enabled to remove all the pain points of potential future customers.
Yeah, that's super cool. I love how you just dove right in and learned all of this stuff, and trial and error. That's the way that you create new things and invent new things. It's just go back to the drawing board and trying different things. That's so interesting.
Exactly.
So it sounds like you've gotten good feedback about your products and people can use them in lots of different ways. What are the ways that you use it the most in your household?
Um, just simply eating them.
Putting it in your mouth, eating it.
Exactly. Yes. 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 But then, like the baking chips are just incredible, just to sprinkle like on your yogurt or to bake with them. And then I love everything teriyaki, so I do a lot of like tofu teriyaki recipes at home, or using tempeh, or and I use the maple syrup, like it's not really a maple syrup, it just replicates the taste, the smokiness of maple syrup, but without the sugar. And we use it to create these either the teriyaki flavor or like the savory sweet kind of recipes we love to do at home. So it's something that I actually use a lot for savory. And then when we do pancakes, of course, we drizzle.
Nice. Yeah. And I forgot about that too. I have it in my fridge right now. I had been putting it in my oatmeal in the morning. So it was nice to taste that. And I like how it did feel mild and it didn't have that sharp, like some of the, alternative sweeteners or non-nutritive sweeteners do have kind of almost that little bitter sharpness to it that you can tell that it's in there. So yeah. Oh, that is so, so cool. Well, what are your plans for the company? Where do you hope to go next? Are you developing any new products right now?
Yes. So we are developing a lot of products right now. So I think some of them will launch end of the year. We just sell on our website, but I think from September, October, we will be on Amazon too. So it's at the moment, it's purely an online business, like family business. And it's for us the opportunity, I would say, to get to know our customers. So that's why we want to stay online first, because you have a customer service, you can address the concerns, you can talk simply to your customers, send them emails, get the feedback. So at the moment it's very much online.
It's cool. Sounds like a labor of love too. Is this what you do full time? Is run the company?
Yes, absolutely.
It probably takes a lot of your time. All right.
It takes a lot of my time.
We'll get back more to where people can find the products. But before we talk about that, I'd love to know what you wish more people knew.
I think, so if we go back to like the plant-based lifestyle that I discovered several years ago, I think that something I've discovered along the way is the fact that there are a lot of stuff on the internet. So a few days ago, like for example, I've seen like a post on Reddit or Quora, I can't really remember, or maybe another forum, where someone was saying that actually cocoa butter, just to give you an example because it's in my field, so cocoa butter is not good for you because there's a lot of fat. But I think there is a lot of like uneducation, like people that just throw idea thoughts and that don't back them scientifically. So there's a lot of stuff that then when someone else read them, they think they understand something. They think they've got a bit of knowledge, additional knowledge, acquired some new knowledge, but it's not the right knowledge. So I think that when it comes to your diet, health, etc., you really need to make sure that you go to authority websites, I would say, like people that really understand what they are talking about. For example, so we have a blog ourselves where everything, like every content we put on, we really make sure that it is backed scientifically and we make it easy to read and digest. And I think that it's something that it was a frustration of mine because I saw so many stuff that contradict. I heard so many stuff that contradict and that, and I was lost. So I would say just going to, like making sure that you have a few sources of information that are really relevant and authoritative in the sense that those people know what they are talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, watch out for the misinformation because it's very proliferative right now, unfortunately.
Yes.
And pretty much anybody can go on and say whatever. So you do have to be careful. But it can be
Yeah.
confusing, even from authorities, because science evolves. And so we do sometimes change our minds. I was just having a conversation yesterday with a parent about probiotics because probably about 6 or 7 years ago, I was regularly putting all my newborn babies on probiotics after they were born. And there are studies that show that it does decrease the risk of having infantile colic. But then they did a big meta-analysis that showed that regularly being on probiotics probably not going to be the best, and it actually seems to um, suppress our microbiome diversity instead of helping it be more diverse. So, it can be a little bit confusing, but I think when we learn from the experts that understand this stuff, they can explain to us the subtleties and why one recommendation may have changed instead of it being like, okay, now
Mm.
it's this, now it's that, and you have no clue why. So it does take some
Yeah.
patience and time. But I also tell people, trust yourself too, because if everybody's saying, like, for example, you have to drink celery juice every morning, because that's like a fad, right? And you drink celery juice and it feels horrible and it tastes bad and you can't make yourself do it and you're gagging, maybe celery juice is not the right thing for you. So it's one of those things too. You have to be able to tune into your body and trust yourself as well. Well, I would love to know if you have a morning routine. If so, what is it?
Yeah, so at the moment, it's my three-year-old who wakes me up.
Your alarm.
So
3-year-old
yeah,
alarm.
exactly. Switch on the lights and wake up. So I just like take care of myself, like my skin, in the morning, because doing something for myself very early on during the day just makes me smile and makes me happy. So, and then I'll take care of my daughters. So, quick shower, then breakfast, and I dress her, and then and then I make sure that she's ready to go to daycare, and then I prepare for myself a breakfast that is generally like cappuccino with oat milk and a smoothie, or when I want to go a bit wild, I will take like a croissant that is vegan. So it very much depends on the mood. And then, I think, and then I start to work.
I love it. I love you hardly ever hear anybody pronounce croissant correctly, but of course you're French, so that makes sense. What's the weirdest way you've ever heard anybody pronounce it, by the way? Because I think that it's one of those words that people just don't know how to pronounce.
That's the thing. I wouldn't be able to
can't even do
imitate
it, huh?
an accent. Yes, I can. I just can't do it.
I understand. I'm Latin American. I'm Panamanian, and sometimes I have a really difficult time, even when people want their name pronounced kind of Americanized. Like if they have a Latin American name, it's hard for me to pronounce it the American way. So I understand what you mean. That's
yes.
interesting. Okay, what personal habit are you most proud of, and why?
So this has been a work in progress for me. I've tried a lot of things. I think at the moment, what seems to really work for me is when my daughter comes back from daycare, is just like to have a walk with her. It feels that it just breaks the cycle and the routine, and it helps me be creative. I just put my phone away, and I love doing something after work, rather than just starting to prepare for dinner and give her a shower. And so having this time, this family time where we are together, we would connect, is something that I'm super proud of, and honestly has done a lot of, like, I've seen a positive impact out of it. Mm-hmm. So to not just like finish the working day with like more to-dos, like a bigger to-do list, like dinner and shower and this and that. So yeah.
I love that because it is true that when we move from task to task, it's hard to switch sometimes, and we pull the mood we have, especially when someone like you working so intensely, probably you're working so intensely at your task and then trying to switch and then be present for your daughter and your family. I struggle with the same. So that I love that kind of transition time of like, okay, let's go for a walk. I don't have my phone. I'm not checking emails. I'm not, doing that stuff. Deep breath, connect with my daughter. How was your day? We enjoy the outside. Nature is so important also for that gut microbiome. So, and you do have to be so deliberate about those things because it's easy just to be like, all right, to-do list. We got to make dinner. We got to get ready. We got to move on, So I love that.
I burnt out of it because I used to do that. Mm-hmm. And honestly, it's not a good thing to do because you no longer live in the present. You always, you are lost in your emails. And when you work on your emails, basically you are always on the future, like what's going to happen. I need to enter to this person now for a future project or for this or for that. And I think that having a moment for you just brings you back to present. Yeah. So, yeah.
I struggle with that a lot. I'm extremely future oriented. So I have a really hard time being present. Mm-hmm. Hey, are you kind of curious about microgreens and including microgreens in your diet, but you're not sure where to start and you're not sure how to do it? I love my Hamama microgreen grower. It's so easy. It's so convenient. So this is how it works. Basically, they send you the kit and it has this little seed quilt, okay? And then you soak the seed quilt in the water and in a few days, you see your tiny little baby sprouts growing. And a few days after that, you can start eating them. And it's so fun. And you can tell them that you're eating them. And they're really happy that you're eating them. And your body's really happy that you're eating them. But here's the best part, because I've told y'all before, I'm lazy. So I don't want to have to use any mental energy that I don't need to. And they send you seed quilts every month. So you don't run out. You can change what seed quilts you want to try. So here's some examples of some of the seed quilts they have. Hearty broccoli, refreshing cabbage, energizing kale, spicy daikon radish, super salad mix. You can even get wheatgrass. You can get culinary cilantro or even hot wasabi mustard. So there's lots to choose from. They have different flavors. They're so cute and they're health promoting. So you can get a good dose of antioxidants and it's really beautiful. I also use them for garnish when I'm making soups and salads and different bowls. You can impress your guests. But like I said, it's going to be low energy cost on your part, and it's actually not that expensive either. The other thing that I use from Hamama is a green onion growing kit, which is really cool because it can decrease your food waste. So you buy the green onions and then the little part that has the root, the white part at the bottom, you stick it in these little holes and then you just put the water in there and it grows, and then you can keep eating the same green onions. You just go with your little scissors and you chop it off and you put it into your food. So if you want to give it a try, you've been curious about microgreens and different ways that you can grow your own food, check out Hamama. You can find it in my show notes for a link to get 15% off, or you can go to DRYAMI.com/shop so that you can find the link and get 15% off your first order. Happy growing! Y'all, I am obsessed with this clothing brand called Ufere. I initially saw Tabitha Brown wearing one of their bathing suits on Instagram, and I immediately went to the website and bought myself one. Now I have 3 of their pieces, actually 5 technically, considering that I have the cover up for the bathing suit and also the head wrap, and I have 2 infinity dresses. Their clothing is amazing. So they're actually an award-winning African fashion brand featuring beautiful pieces with vibrant prints and bold patterns, but they make you feel like royalty. I wore one of the infinity dresses for my friend's wedding and I got compliments all night long, but I felt so confident and I just felt so beautiful wearing it. I don't know if you've ever worn an infinity dress. I have never even heard of an infinity dress before, but basically it's a dress that you can style in lots of different ways. So it's like having 100 dresses in one. You can change it according to your mood or what part of your body you want to show off. But the bottom line is you're going to feel amazing. So if you want to check out their pieces, it's Oufure, Ofuure. But I have a special code so that you can get 10% off of your first order. Oufure.com/DRYAMI, DRYAMI. Okay, so Oufure is OFUURE.com/DRYAMI. Also, if you go to DRYAMI.com/shop, you can get to the link right there or check out the show notes. I promise you are not going to regret checking out this clothing brand, especially if you love looking like a queen. So it's a good reminder for me too, to implement those routines and those habits throughout the day that force you to at least attempt to get into the present for a little moment. So that's really great.
And that's actually, just for the very small story, that's actually what MiiRO means.
Oh.
So it comes from Latin and it means to wonder, and it just describes the idea that when you pause to have a moment for yourself, to eat this piece of chocolate or whatever, it transports you to another place where you're present and where you wonder. So actually the name MiiRO was a reminder to myself to be more present. Just the little story.
I love it. That's beautiful. I love how symbolic that is and connects to your life. That's really great. Well, speaking of MiiRO, tell my listeners where they can find your products, how they can order them so that they can taste all of the yummy goodness as well.
Yeah, sure. So at the moment, we just sell on our website, which is MiiRO.co. So it's MiiRO.co. And we will be on Amazon more around September, October.
Perfect. So we'll make sure we put it in the show links so that they can go right now and decide what they want to try first, but definitely recommend peanut butter chips. Do not neglect to put that in your shopping cart. Okay, I would love for you to leave us with your favorite number one tip for busy parents that want to set up healthy eating habits in their homes.
I think that, like, when you set yourself some expectations, they have to be totally reasonable. Like, you cannot have, so it depends on the age of your child, of course. If your child is 6 months old, it's different. But when you have a toddler, for example, or a child that is a bit older, it's totally unreasonable to think you're going to do several dinners. A dinner for your child because your child doesn't want this or that, a dinner for yourself. So I think that finding a few recipes, even if you do them often at the beginning, that the whole family will love, makes it so much easier. And I think there's nothing wrong to eat pasta, for example, provided that it's whole wheat pasta and that you throw some vegetables inside. So this is something that has worked for us. We just tweak the sauce where we add a bit of veggies and so that she can eat it, and small portions of very small veggies really chopped up like finely so that she doesn't notice. And I think it's just like trying to find recipes that works for the whole family. Otherwise, it's really unreasonable when you have a busy lifestyle.
Yes, I agree. So don't overcomplicate it. Keep it simple, and don't be a short order cook. Not only because it takes so much time and energy to be a short order cook, but it just supports those habits that you probably don't necessarily want to be supporting in your children. And I agree with you too. I don't think there's anything wrong with pasta. And nowadays, really every single day, your pasta can be different because there's pasta made with lentils. There's pasta made with chickpeas. Yeah. There's all kinds of different versions that taste a little bit different, have a little bit different texture. Exactly. Then you compare it with different sauces and different veggies and have fun. Last night we had chickpea pasta, and I made a homemade vegan pesto sauce with walnuts and greens from my lettuce grow, a little lemon juice. And I we didn't have any left and I doubled the recipe, but that happens often around here. I would never have leftovers because I have 2 boys. So plus my husband who's very active. But yeah, it was a very simple, enjoyable meal and very nutritious. So Rym, I've really enjoyed talking to you and learning about your
Me too.
journey and your company MiiRO. Congratulations on
Thank you.
developing this yourself and doing such a great job, and for the products that you have created. And I hope that my listeners will take advantage and check them out. And I wish you the very best in the future. And I hope that you have a very plantastic day.
Thank you so much.
That was such a fun episode. I really enjoyed talking to Rym and learning about her journey. Things that stand out to me are, one, that you have to be really determined and really passionate about creating a product to hang in there for, years, developing it, getting it just right. And I'm so happy that there are people that care about it, because I love eating good food. So thank you to all of you who are passionate about creating products that we love, things that I would never even have thought of. That's so cool. But the other thing that stood out to me, which I need right now more than ever, is that reminder to be present, to deliberately take time in your day to reconnect with yourself, reconnect with people around you, instead of constantly living in the future or living in the past. Let's be here right now, because that's really the only thing we truly have. So what can you do today and this week to deliberately practice being present? So I'm going to do it along with you. I'm going to take moments where I just reset before I move on to my busy life and very long to-do list. Thank you, veggie lovers, for hanging in there with me. I hope you love this episode. I hope you go try out the MiiRO products. Remember, 10% off with the code DRYAMI10, DRYAMI10, at MiiRO.co, MiiRO.co. I hope you have a very plantastic day. Hey, veggie lover, I hope that you loved today's episode. Will you take a second and do me a huge favor? Please subscribe to my podcast so that you never miss an episode. You're the reason I'm here, and I want to share it all with you. Thank you for listening, and have a plantastic day.